This museum is unlike any other. I think when people typically think of museums, they think indoors, lots of glass, still exhibits, but this is totally different. We are a zoo, aquarium, botanical gardens, natural history museum, an art institute, all rolled into one.
The Arizona-Sonora Desert Museum is so unique that it can be all of those things, but it can also be any single thing you want it to be. Smack dab in the middle of the desert, surrounded by the Saguaro National Monument, the museum campus is a chameleon of sorts, always changing to reflect its surroundings.
We're a regional facility, so we're here and everything you'll see on grounds is from the Sonoran Desert, which that alone is pretty special.
The Desert Museum opened in 1953 and was the first zoo in the country to have natural exhibits.
Our exhibits are meant to really directly show where that animal might be seen in the wild. So for example, our bighorn sheep exhibit, they took a range that's not too far from here where the bighorn sheep were found, and they took pictures of it, models, and they built it directly after that spot so that it is as close as you could possibly get to seeing a bighorn sheep in the wild here at an exhibit.
We have a wide variety of animals at the Desert Museum. We have a black bear, we have a mountain lion, we have stingrays, which may surprise some people. It surprised me being from Florida. I didn't understand stingrays in the desert, but the reality is stingrays do live in the Sonoran Desert in the Gulf of California. So we get to educate people on ocean conservation and why that's important even when you're in the desert.
The prairie dogs are a visitor favorite, along with the mountain lions and the Mexican gray wolves.
I would say the most popular exhibit is the hummingbird aviary. There's just something so special and whimsical about this area. I mean, as you can see, we've seen a few hummingbirds zooming on by. You're just walking around and they are just in their natural habitat. And they are our winged wonders, and we absolutely love them. And our guests do too.
This is Night. She's a 20-year-old barn owl, and she works here at the Desert Museum as an ambassador for her species. She gets to go out to school, she goes out on grounds here with our docents and gets to meet people up close, because it's those up close interactions that really can have a lasting effect on people. I'm a zookeeper, but I am responsible for the training and lots of different things for our animals. So I take care of all the animals that are going out with our educators and our docents, and I train them so that they can handle being up close and personal with people, because, you know, a regular barn owl wouldn't be super excited about being right in front of people.
Crystal also gives visitors daily live programs showcasing 70 species of Sonoran desert animals.
All right, so this is a gray fox, and they are common in this area.
She gives insight into their behaviors and where you might find them in the wild. The Sonoran Desert is one of the lushest deserts in the world.
Most people are very surprised that a desert would actually look like this. And the reason we look like this is because of our 2 rainy seasons, and we're covered by mountainous areas, and we are very, very lush. We're more of a tropical desert here. We are now standing within the cactus garden at the Desert Museum. If you come into this cactus garden, you'll see probably 147 species of cactus within this garden itself.
The Desert Museum is all about showcasing the area's distinctive beauty and changing perceptions.
Even though I'm from Florida and we have our own creepy and weird creatures, including humans, I was a little nervous. But the cool thing is, as soon as I got here and started working at the Desert Museum, I immersed myself with the curators and learning more about the animals, and that sort of ignorance turned into education, and then the education turned into a respect for the wild creatures that I'm now cohabitating with, right? So the first time I saw a rattlesnake out in the wild, instead of being, ah, I was more, ah, that's awesome. I'm very excited. So for me personally, moving here has totally changed my life, and that's what the Desert Museum is inspiring to do for people, is inspiring them when they come here to learn how to conserve and protect these animals that call the Sonoran Desert their home.
The Sonoran Desert Museum is a one-of-a-kind experience that lets you create your own adventure.
You know, you can spend 2 to 3 hours, or you can spend up to 7 to 8 hours. We have walking trails, we have an art institute, we have a cave, so you can really take your time and explore the different sections of the museum.
It's always nice to have a restaurant nearby, you know, your go-to spot. So we're going to take you to Arcadia in Central Phoenix, to a place where you can walk, ride your bike, but most importantly, you can relax and have that alfresco dining experience.
Definitely is a neighborhood spot. Yes, we do have families that ride bikes up. We have people that walk up. It's just really planted in the center here, which has basically made us a part of the community as like a family member almost. It is actually a gourmet food stand.
From grass-fed burgers to their shattered fries and signature cocktails. This fast and casual atmosphere will make you want to dine al fresco.
For our patio, it's just really a no-brainer. Arizona is just such a beautiful place here that it just makes perfect sense for us to offer such a spectacular place for people to come outside and enjoy their meal and cocktails while being outside.
But there's also a curiosity factor.
So Ingo, the name comes from actually the music teacher name of one of our owners in 7th grade. It sounds like in and go, and I think it was derived from that.
Mr. Ingo is also an homage to the company's celebration of music, which they think is just as important ingredient as anything on their ever-changing menu, poppy, jazzy to world music.
Every morning we kind of curate those playlists based on the vibe of the day.
Ingo's combines vibe, patio dining, and a unique take on fresh and simple foods everyone loves.
Our shattered chips is definitely our take on a French fry, but if you ask most of our guests' opinion, it's better. They are addictive, so be careful. The shattered chips come with our house-made lebni, which is a yogurt-based dipping sauce, similar to like a Greek yogurt. And then we have our lacto-fermented hot sauce. So that's made from jalapenos that we house ferment. And when they are done, we blend them with all of the rest of our secret ingredients. And that's what you end up in your little cup at your table. And we recommend trying it with just about everything but dessert. It's fantastic.
Ingo's has quite a few items on the menu that have already proved addictive.
Our pickles are a secret recipe, so we can't tell you about how we make them, but we can tell you that they are delicious. They're very popular. People order a lot of extra on the side typically, and they are a hit for sure.
Another hit, their cocktails on tap.
This is an even faster and efficient way to get it to your lips. Our Greyhound is our #1 cocktail here. It's been voted #1 multiple times, and we actually sell so much of it that we just decided to put it on draft.
And then there is their revolving menu.
We really just like to focus in on something that is in time for that season and just run with it and make something really amazing that we can offer that we can change all the time. This is our Post-it note special. We actually do put it on a Post-it note as something that's a unique way to feature it. And what it is it's our way of being able to change something on the menu on a day-to-day basis based on whatever's fresh in that moment in time.
Even some of the artwork is in the moment.
Our way of kind of featuring something new that's happening in this building. Whatever we want to kind of feature that day, we can just change it up and draw it on there.
And dessert is always on Ingo.
People are also addicted to the French sea salt chocolate chip cookies on the way out the door. They're always really surprised when they are looking for them and they're like, oh my gosh, these are free? So it's a perfect finish to everyone's meal here. It's like another thank you from us on your way out the door.
And will definitely keep you coming back for more.
It really is very Arizona specific, and I think it's just a perfect fit here.
Arizona Highways TV is brought to you by APS, making every day brighter, and the Arizona Office of Tourism.
Subscribe to Arizona Highways Magazine. One full year, 12 issues, is just $18. That's $6 less than the regular price. Visit ArizonaHighways.com, click on subscribe, and use promo code SPECIAL.
We're right in the Arizona Handmade Fire on the Mountain Gallery space. That's in Flagstaff. We're on San Francisco Street.
George Aberbeck displays roughly 40 Arizona artists in his gallery.
We have paintings, we have prints, we have photography. We have a lot of ceramics. We have a guy that I went to college with back in the 70s. He's a great potter here in town. So most of the people are from here.
George is a glass artist, but doesn't take himself too seriously.
I'm a craftsperson with a glass problem, you know? I really love this stuff.
He says he usually makes Christmas ornaments and decorations 3 months out of the year, but this year is different.
Right now I've been, with the COVID and everything, I've been making a lot of wine glasses. God, people are drinking wine, and they should. I make these wine glasses, and I make tumblers, and I make some other wine glasses. We haven't made too many with the stems. It always seems like people end up breaking them, you know, on the second bottle of wine.
Turns out, these are some of his favorite pieces. George says it's because people actually use them.
It would be really optimistic to think I could make a great big piece of glass and sell it for $20,000. I leave that up to Chihuly and all those guys in Seattle and, you know, the museum artists.
But George's practical pieces are just as stunning. How does he get these vibrant colors? Well, George lets us in on a little secret.
I took a little chemistry because all these colors in my glass are the result of chemical interactions. Cobalt and manganese and purple and you know that black is actually very, very, very dark purple. That's black glass.
He's even mixed in a little astronomy.
Through Lowell Observatory, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of Neil Armstrong taking the first step on the moon. All the Apollo astronauts trained here in Flagstaff. They all came through at some point. So we created this moon ball. We cut tubing, rolled it up on the surface to create craters. I was proud to present a larger-than-life moon ball to Charlie Duke. Charlie Duke is one of the 4 remaining astronauts that walked on the moon. This is the dance floor. You're standing right in the middle here.
Now in his studio, George is warming up to show us how he creates his art and how easy he makes it look.
This is the furnace. This is insulated tank full of glass. And I'm gonna go in there and gather the glass out with one of these heated rods. Now here comes the glass. And believe it or not, this is clear. There's no color in it whatsoever. These are colored glasses that come from Germany. And they're relatively small. I don't slow down much because slowing down could cause trouble. We call this the glory hole. It's the reheat oven. There's no glass in there unless I drop something in there. We don't want to do that. But see how that melted down there? So this is the 3rd color. And it's a line of demarcation between the bottom and the side. We've done the color decoration. And now what we're going to do is we're going to change the pattern. This is called dragging. And so I'm sitting in one spot, but the glass is moving. You can see the pattern. See how that twisted it? I'm going to grab this out here and see, I'm going to reverse the pattern. The old school way of putting a stem on there. See? And cool, huh? Well, we're going to make it a little thinner and more elegant. You see how we're starting to get the goblet shape? We're going to open it a little more. Hard to get a wine in there if it's a narrow lip, you know? All right, here we go. We're almost done. Now, we're going to place it in here. This is 900 degrees. Go ahead. And hopefully it just pops right off. You can go take a picture.
Time to grab that bottle of wine. Cheers. Charm, comfort, character, location, and atmosphere. The Armory Park Inn checks all those boxes.
I've been told that it was a stagecoach stop for soldiers and supplies destined for the Armory at Military Plaza, which is just a couple of blocks from here. We know it now as Armory Park, and that's where the soldiers and the militia were stationed that were charged with overseeing and taking care and protecting the Presidio in Tucson.
Built in 1877, Armory Park Inn is located in the heart of one of Tucson's oldest neighborhoods. The building itself mirrors both the pre- and post-railroad era. Inside, it's filled with touches of modern and sophisticated luxury.
I'm Amy O'Reilly Draper, and I'd like to welcome you to the Armory Park Inn.
As an eighth-generation Southern Arizonan, Amy Draper is an innkeeper with a bit of a past.
I have very deep roots in Tucson. I've traced my heritage back to a gentleman by the name of Juan Cristosimo Ramirez. He was a soldier in the Presidio at Tubac.
And with the help of a small cast of characters, Amy keeps much of Tucson's history alive right here at the inn.
What got me sort of started on this adventure is just my love for Tucson and how much I love to talk about Tucson and share what a great town it is. And we didn't get to be a good town just by magic. We got to be such a cool town on the backs of some really remarkable individuals.
Each of the inn's 7 rooms is named after a famous and deserving Tucsonian, and each room goes on to tell their story.
People who made a real positive impact on Tucson, and we wouldn't be who we are today without those people. So it's my honor and my pleasure to tell their story.
From pioneers to trailblazers to educators.
Esteban Ochoa apparently was a man of great patriotism and great integrity. He was our first Mexican mayor after the Gadsden Purchase. He served for 3 terms in the Arizona Territorial Legislature, but his real passion was education. He had made a fortune in a freighting company, so he was responsible for purchasing and then donating the land for our first public school here in town.
Then there's the Isabella Greenway room.
What a firecracker. She is just a remarkable woman. She was high school roommates with Eleanor Roosevelt, and I think that it was her close relationship with Eleanor and Franklin that sort of started her lifelong passion with politics. She was our first female representative to Congress when Arizona only had 1. She was an entrepreneur. She owned and ran 2 ranches. She had an airline, Gilpin Airlines in LA.
Charles Brown is another one Amy thought deserved his own room.
I think he was maybe kind of a wild man before he got here to Tucson, but once he got here, he became a very respectable citizen. He was a very successful proprietor of the Congress Hall Saloon. That's where the who's who of Tucson would be found.
There are 4 other rooms with equally fascinating and entertaining stories to tell. It's all part of what makes Armory Park Inn special.
I have guests who say, I feel peaceful, grateful, they feel calm. I'm not a calm person, so all of this feeling, this is something that has very little to do with me. I sort of think it's just a gift that the inn gives to our guests, and I just do my best to sort of stay out of its way. So I'll take care of the hospitality part, and the inn will take care of how you feel.
And that's just another box you can check. Arizona Highways TV is brought to you by APS, making every day brighter, and the Arizona Office of Tourism. It's more than sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but the Zubia Brothers admit they've touched on all those bullet points. Mark and Lawrence Zubia have been part of the Valley's music scene for more than 2 decades.
Better believe it, I've been sleeping at the hotel defeated. I've been living, but I'm barely breathing. It's the end.
From my perspective, it was Mill Avenue, and to play on Mill Avenue and to play in those bars, Long Wong's, Gibson's, Balboa Cafe, Electric Ballroom, all those places. We aspired to play in all those places with, you know, the bands that we looked up to at the time. It was a robust scene, you know. We played during the week to crowded bars and people came out, you know. Now it seems like there's a music scene throughout the entire valley, mainly in downtown Phoenix. Back in the 90s, it seemed like there was 4 or 5 bands that would pull a crowd. Now it just seems like it's so lush with talent. It's still a mystery to me how certain geographical locations end up having a certain type of sound, you know, like Seattle had a grunge sound, there's supposedly a Tempe sound. Zubia Brothers are, we started playing with my dad when we were really young. My dad was a mariachi. His name is Raul Zubia. We grew up going to his rehearsals, going to his gigs, and just watching them develop their group and their talent, and eventually grew up to play with those guys. Mariachi music is really acoustic music. You don't plug into an amp, you don't plug in at all. You just play acoustic music. That has, I think, helped Mark and myself considerably play like this in an acoustic format. It's really just guitar and vocal, you know.
I don't know if you hear I will call it anyway.
We all grew up around AM radio and in the early 70s, and if there's any sort of homogenous vibe going on, I think it's really the fact that we all grew up in this little corner of the world listening to the same radio and developing our songwriting and playing skills. I do think there's a resurgence of singer-songwriter type performance, definitely, yeah. The formula that we use is really just the simple formula that was created in the 50s. You know, it's an intro, verse, chorus, a lead, a bridge, a chorus out sort of song formula. And I think that formula is going to work forever.